You open the app you downloaded a year and a half ago, back when you decided to be responsible about money. The balance says $4,200. You've been putting money in every month. You haven't touched it. You've done everything you were told to do. And looking at that number, you feel almost nothing. No excitement, no sense of progress. Just a quiet, flat little voice asking, is this even working? Maybe I picked the wrong fund. Maybe I started too late. Maybe this whole slow, boring thing never actually arrives. I want to tell you something that took me a long time to properly understand. Compounding doesn't fail people. The timeline fails people. There's a specific point where compounding stops feeling like patience and starts behaving like a machine, and almost nobody can tell you where that point is. So that's what this video is. By the end, you'll know the exact moment your money stops needing you and starts carrying itself. There's a single dollar figure where that flip happens, and I'm going to show you how to work out yours on your own balance tonight. Here's the first thing to be clear about. This isn't a get-rich video. There's no clever stock, no timing, no secret. And it's not American. We're not talking about anything with a 401k or an IRA in it. We're talking about the two compounding engines nearly every Australian already has access to. Your super, which is quietly running in the background whether you look at it or not, and a simple low-cost index fund, the kind you can start with an ETF this week. Both of them cross the exact same line. And once you can see that line, you stop quitting right before the good part. Let's start with why the early years feel like such a letdown, because that feeling is real, and you're not imagining it. In the beginning, almost all of your growth is just you. It's your own contributions, the money you manually put in. The market is barely doing anything yet, and that's not a sign it's broken. It's just the maths. Say you put about $500 a month into a broad, low-cost index fund, and over the long run it averages somewhere around 7.5% a year. That's a deliberately conservative number for an Australian context, after fees. Some years are far better, some are negative, but let's use it because it's honest. In your first year, you've put in $6,000. The market has added around $200. You look at it and think, all that for $200. And you're right to feel underwhelmed. At this stage, you are doing basically all the work. Think of it like rolling a snowball at the top of a hill. Right now, you're packing it by hand. Your fingers are cold, the ball is small, and the hill isn't helping you at all yet. But it is growing, slowly, even when you can't feel it. Here's what that looks like as the years actually pass. By year 3, you've put in $18,000, and your balance is around $20,000. The market made about $2,000 of that. By year 5, you've put in $30,000, and you're sitting near $36,000. By year 7, you've contributed $42,000, and the balance has crossed $54,000. The market has now quietly built about $12,000 for you, without you lifting a finger. And then, somewhere around year 9 or 10, something changes that changes everything. By year 10, you've personally put in $60,000. Your balance is sitting near $88,000. And in that single year, the growth on your money is now worth about as much as a whole year of your own contributions. That's the moment. That's the line. There's a beautifully simple way to find exactly where it sits for you. Take what you put in over a year and divide it by your return. At $6,000 a year and 7.5%, you get $80,000. $80,000 is the point where the market's work for the year matches yours for the year. Below it, you're carrying the thing on your back. Above it, the machine is pulling alongside you. And from there, the gap only ever widens in your favor. This is the line I told you about at the start, the one where your money stops needing you. It doesn't announce itself. There's no email from your fund, no little celebration. You just notice, one quiet month, that your balance went up more than you put in, and you think, when did that start happening? And there's a reason the famous investors obsess over the first $100,000. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's business partner, used to say the first $100,000 is the hardest, and to do whatever it takes to get there. He wasn't being dramatic. He meant it literally. Below that size, you are the engine. Past it, the engine starts being the engine. In our example, the balance crosses $100,000 in about year 11. Just after the line. That's not a coincidence. The hardest, most thankless part of this whole journey is the stretch before the machine switches on, which is exactly the stretch where most people give up. So let's talk about how you actually survive it, because understanding compounding isn't the hard part. Everyone sort of understands it. The hard part is continuing to put money in, month after month, while you feel absolutely nothing. The honest answer is that you have to change what you're measuring. When your balance is $8,000 and the goal is a comfortable retirement, measuring your progress in dollars will crush you every single time. The gap is too big and the movement is too slow. So measure the other thing. Measure the months you didn't skip. Measure your contribution going in like clockwork. You're not measuring the snowball, you're measuring the packing. And every month you pack is a month closer to the hill taking over. There's one thing that genuinely can break this, and it's worth saying plainly. The single most dangerous moment in the early years is a market fall. Not because the fall itself does lasting damage. In the long run, those dips are noise. It's dangerous because of what it tempts you to do. Think back to early 2020, or the slump through 2022. Headlines everywhere telling people to panic. Plenty of Aussies logged into their super and switched the whole thing to cash, right at the bottom. And in doing that, they locked in the loss and missed the recovery that followed. That's the one move that actually derails compounding. Selling. Everything we just walked through, the line, the machine switching on, all of it depends on one unglamorous thing: staying in. Now here's the part I really want you to hear because it's the most Australian part of this whole story. You almost certainly already own one of these machines. It's your super. Money goes into it from your pay automatically. Every single time you're paid, it's invested. It compounds. And it has probably been quietly crossing this exact line for years while you weren't watching. For a lot of people, super is the biggest investment account they own and the one they've literally never logged into. So even if starting a separate index fund feels like too much right now, you have a compounding engine running already. The question is just whether it's set up to run well, and we'll get to that in a second. And if you're sitting there doing the maths on your own age and feeling that tightness in your chest, I want to say this directly. It is not too late. The timeline is shorter, yes, and you'll need to feed it a bit harder. But the machine still works. At 7.5%, your money doubles roughly every 10 years. That's a rule worth keeping in your back pocket. Divide 72 by your return, and you get the years to double. There is no version of this where starting now is worse than not starting at all. There just isn't. So let's bring it home. Compounding is invisible. It doesn't buzz your phone or give you a dopamine hit. It just works, quietly, day after day, taking what you give it and multiplying it, then multiplying the multiplied amount. The early years are flat, and that flatness is normal, not failure. There's a specific line, your yearly contribution divided by your return, where the market starts outworking you. And the only real job you have is to get to that line, and then not get in the way. Here is what I'd actually do tonight, not someday. Tonight, 1. Work out your own line. Take whatever you put away in a year into super or an index fund or both, and divide it by 7.5%. That's your number. Then pull up your balance, not to admire it, but to see how far you've got to go to reach it. 2. Move the line closer. There's only one lever fully in your hands, and that's how much goes in. Nudge it, increase your salary sacrifice into super by 1%, or lift your automatic investment by $50 a month. That single change pulls the whole timeline forward. 3. Make sure the engine's actually built to run. Open your Super Funds app and look. Pass the balance to 2 things: what investment option you're in and what you're paying in fees. A long-term balance sitting in a conservative or cash option, or bleeding a high fee, is quietly running at a lower return, and that pushes your line further away. This is not MyGov, it's your actual fund, AustralianSuper, Host Plus, Rest, whoever holds your money. And 4, the one that's about doing nothing. Decide now, today, while things are calm, that you will not sell the next time the market drops. Because that decision is so much harder to make in the moment, and it's the one that resets the entire clock. If this gave you a bit of patience for the boring years, share it with someone who's staring at a small balance wondering if it's worth it. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for someone is to tell them the slow part is supposed to feel slow. And one more thing before you go. Everything we've talked about today is really just one rung of a much taller ladder. The line you cross depends on everything sitting underneath it. How much of your pay you actually keep after tax, whether your super is set up properly, what your debt is doing when you start. So if your investing rung feels solid now, but the rungs below it are a bit of a blur, I've made one long video that lays the whole ladder out in order for Australians. Pay and tax, then super, then debt, then investing, then property, then the life stage choices that quietly move every number. All of it in one place, built to be watched from the ground up. It's the video I'd hand you if you were starting over. It's right here, and I'll see you over there.